How's it going, guys? I thought that today I would bring you guys a tabletop review of my Springfield Operator Lightweight 1911. You guys seem to like these tabletop reviews, particularly on the 1911s, so I wanted to bring another one of my 1911s back out and show you guys a little bit more about it. Now, of course, this is a very solid 1911. If you have watched any of my previous videos, you will know the story behind this gun. This gun actually belonged to a deputy sheriff in a neighboring county. He sold it to a local gun store, traded for something that he wanted, a little more than he wanted this, and I picked it up from there. This is, of course, the lightweight model, which means it has an alloy frame instead of the steel frame, which does make it a lot lighter than your traditional 1911s. Now, there are some differences between this 1911 and a lot of the more traditional 1911s that are out there on the market. And for one thing, I just wanted to show you some of the features, and then we will get a little bit more into the details. If I can get this to focus, this actually has a set of Trigicon sights on it. These sights are very good for this gun. Now, for my eyes, I have seen sights that are a little bit better, but for this gun, these do work fine. It does have an accessory rail for mounting lights and things like that. The safety on this particular gun is ambidextrous, which is something that I really like on a lot of 1911s, and there are reasons for that, particularly if you are going to carry a 1911 for self-defense. Having the ambidextrous safety is something that I would much more prefer. If for any reason you needed to use your weak hand or your left hand out there, for you right-handed shooters, there could be a time to where you needed to be able to disengage that safety with your non-dominant hand, and having the ambi safety will help you to do that. Now, one of the things about the Springfield Operator 1911 that is a little different than some of your more traditional guns is the fact that the feed ramp for this gun, which I cannot get a real good light picture on this, but the feed ramp in this gun is made much different than your traditional 1911s. The feed ramp for this gun, I actually talked about that in another video that I did, and I'm trying to see if I can just get you guys a little bit better light where you might be able to see it. Okay, let's see. If you can see down inside that feed ramp, it is made just a little different. You can kind of see it a little bit there. But what it is, the feed ramp is made as part of the barrel on this particular gun instead of it being part of the frame, which that, for some people, they don't necessarily like that on their 1911. This one being the lightweight model, having the alloy frame, I prefer that. I really do not like having those rounds hit an alloy frame of a gun. Now, I know there are other manufacturers out there that have with their alloy frame 1911s, their lightweight models, they have just a regular aluminum block in there. Basically, there's no other way to put it. And over a period of time, especially if you're going to use certain types of ammo, that is going to get chewed up, and it is not going to allow the gun to feed properly and things like that. Springfield in the Operator Lightweight has overcome that by having that ramp as part of the barrel. It's a little bit different than traditional 1911s, but it works very well with this gun. Now, the grips on this, as you can see, they do have the Springfield logo. I know it's common for a lot of folks to change the grips out on their gun. Most of the time, with the exception of a few, I'll buy a gun the way that I like it, and there's usually not a lot that I will do to them. Occasionally I will replace the sights depending on what I'm doing with the gun, or the grips on some of my 1911s, but for this one the Springfield grips are going to remain there. I love the way that they look on this gun. I think that it is a perfect match with the way that this gun is finished. Now, some of the features of this gun, it does have some very good texturing here on the mainspring housing. Also has the memory bump on the extended beaver tail. Has the skeletonized hammer. The trigger, of course, is skeletonized, if you want to call it that as well. And the trigger on this gun is pretty good. You know, is it perfect? No, but for a 1911, this is a very good gun. Okay, when I grip it, you can see the take up on the trigger is very small, and then right there is the wall. You begin building and it breaks right there. Now the reset on this trigger is right about there. It is very close. Okay, very nice trigger. Could be a little bit lighter, but again, if you're going to use a firearm for self-defense, you're not going to want that trigger to be too light. This, in my opinion, is about where you would want it to be. Now, another feature of this gun is the fact that it has a full-length guide rod. This is something that I'm not the biggest fan of, not the fact that it's a full-length guide rod, but the fact that this is a two-piece full-length guide rod. You can replace these, and I've thought about replacing it on this gun, but at the same time, I just decided to leave it, at least for now. One of the things that makes it so difficult when you go to take this gun down for cleaning or whatever, you have to take a tool, loosen this in order to get it apart easily. Okay, now there are ways you can get it apart without having to take that tool and loosen it up, but it's very difficult to do. I mean, it can be done, but it's just not the most convenient. So that's one of the reasons why I thought about replacing this. I haven't done it yet. I'm still kind of up in the air about it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your opinion. It does have front serrations on the gun for those of you guys who like to press check, which I don't know why you would want to do that around the muzzle, that sort of thing. You know, and it is a very comfortable, a very fun gun to shoot. Of course, with it being a lightweight model, some folks may notice a little bit more recoil than they would with a traditional heavier framed. That way, you know, those heavy frames can kind of soak up more of the recoil than what the lightweight model does, but still it is very, very controllable. This gun, the finish on it is still almost perfect. There have been a few times that I have carried this particular 1911, but it is extremely rare. Most of the time, this is one of the guns that I have that is probably the closest to being a safe queen. However, I do get it out and shoot it. You know, it does not just sit there doing nothing. My guns do go to the range. They do get shot, even though I do like to take care of them. One thing that it does not have is any checkering on the front strap. No big deal. Depending on what you're doing with the gun, you know, some people would prefer that. I would like it myself, but again, each of my guns has a purpose, and this one is mostly just a range gun. Okay, it does not have the undercut on the trigger guard, which if you have a gun on a 1911 or whatever, that really does help get just a little bit higher on the gun when you go to shoot it. The extended beaver tail for me is almost a must. My hands, the way that they are, I know on a lot of the more traditional 1911, some that have the standard beaver tail, sort of like your World War II leftover guns, your World War I, the older guns, that is something for me I would get a little bit of hammer bite on if I'm not careful. With the newer models with the extended beaver tails, you know, that's something that I do not have any kind of an issue with. This gun has been 100% reliable. I cannot say anything negative about the reliability of this gun. I have put all types of ammunition through it. I have put hardball, regular 230 grain ball ammo. I have put several different kinds of defensive loads and this gun has been like Pac-Man, and it has just ate every one of them. It has just gobbled them up. No issues with it whatsoever. One of the keys is, of course, the magazine. Using a good magazine with a 1911 is an absolute must. Now, what you get with this gun is the standard 7-round capacity magazine. But again, guys, you can go out and you can buy magazines virtually anywhere. And I have had some good luck with, different ones. I really like the SIG mags and things like that. They seem to work well in all of my guns. And, of course, there are others out there, Wilson Combat, things like that. But this is just another one of the 1911s in my collection that I wanted to take a few minutes and show it to you guys, and I would love to know your thoughts on it down in the comments below. Are you a fan of Springfield Armory 1911s? I know that there's a lot of controversy involving Springfield as a company, but I'll have to say some of their guns are still very good firearms. And again, I bought this one on the used market, so the money that I spent did not go directly to Springfield. Guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Also, guys, be sure to visit my website at boomsticktactical.com. Check out the rest of the videos on my channel. Like the video, leave me a comment down below, and we will see you next time.